morning again.
Mic is off. All right, good. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to the press, to the digital and physical media. Good morning to the players. Good morning to our astute host, Shoshana. As she would have mentioned, this is an opportunity for the players, the coaches, everybody to get a chance to really express how they feel essentially about the league as it currently is underway. Our sponsors specifically get a chance to activate in different ways. So you have the digital channels currently, and I'm sure that you have a number of persons watching online. They will be asking questions, and then you'll get a chance to make the media stories, whether it be online or on TV in the evenings or on the radio. So I bring greetings on behalf of PFJL. We are the body that organizes and promotes the football league in the country, the highest football league, which is the elite level Premier League, and we have a number of players on show. They're all given an opportunity to express their talent. We have a number of coaches on show. They're also given an opportunity to express their talents. And then we have the people who make it possible, which is our sponsors. So we thank you for your continued support, and we hope that you will help to keep building the product as we currently have it. Now, the press conference will not be overly difficult. The players will get a chance to, journalists will get a chance to field questions to the players and coaches, and they'll get a chance to answer those questions in meaningful ways. So I think we should have fun with this, enjoy it, use it as an opportunity to learn and grow as we go through the process. And as Shoshana would have mentioned, this is our second staging. We hope to continue every week as we go forward, and like I said, consistently. Every Wednesday at 10, you can expect to be here. So those you are joining online, you will book it in your calendars every Wednesday at 10. Ensure that you log on to the pages, and you'll get an opportunity to ask any questions that you want, once they're censored, obviously, to the players and coaches. And we hope that they'll answer as profoundly and as honestly as is possible. So thank you again for showing up, and we hope to have a good day.
Okay, so the first set of teams, that are in the hot seat. It's not hot seat, I'm just kidding, relax. You want more water, any of you? Oh, no, not drink enough water for me, you know. Right? No. Make sure you're keeping hydrated. Well, the first two teams, we have Malines and Arnett Gardens. So the journalists, they're now going to ask their questions. Fabian here for Arnett Gardens, as well as Decoy, Coach, and Joel. For Malines, Alex, no, you're not Ming. Let me tell you. Tell me your name. There you go. Jason. There you go. I'm old. I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding. So the floor is open for questions, and like I said, the questions will not be hard. I've always said to players, athletes, the questions are always about what you do. So you're able to answer to the best of your ability, and that's all we ask. So the floor is open to any of the journalists, or if you want me to go first, Simon, you're going to ask me. You want me to go first? All right, so I'll open for the journalist. I will start with both coaches. Based on where you are now on the table, pleased with the performances from your team, and how do you look to, or what do you think you need to do to improve for the remainder of the second round?
Good morning, everyone. So far we are pleased with the performance of the players. I mean, the coaching staff are really proud of them. They're really putting in a good shift. Each and every week they come out and showcase their talent. And it's been good for the fans as well. The atmosphere in the jungle is, it's electric. and the players, they feed off that each and every week. So I mean, they just continue doing what they're doing, and hopefully we can continue with the winning streak that we have right now. I mean, it's really good as a coach to see that we can win 5 games in a row. Most of the 5 games we have dominated most of the games. Not just winning, but just playing good football all around, defensively, in midfield and in attack.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning, everyone. Please, we're playing some good football, yes, but not please to where we're at in the table. But you know, we're building something great at Mullins United, and alright. So pleased in a sense of not pleased where we're at in the table, but we're playing some good football. You know, building a great band at Mullins, and for the remainder of the season, we know we're going to push further up in the table.
Any journalists with any question?
I have a quick question. Alex, considering that you're a former coach at Arnett Gardens, how does it feel to actually go back up against Arnett Gardens, and what are your strategies in dealing with the current atmosphere that we see exuding from the team Arnett Gardens?
I expect this question. I'm commendable. You know, Arnett played some good football. You know, and I have to commend them on that. Saw them on Monday night. You know, and we know what Arnett do. You know, they have the 12-man, which is the fans, and that is good for them. But we are, as a former coach, you know, on Mullins, we played some good for the last encounter was a good one. You know, give up one in the last minute, but never. But this one going to be interesting.
One for Jason. Jason, as you know, you had the experiences in Europe. How much did that prepare you for life in the JPL and, you know, being back home as well?
Professionally, it has prepared me, but with the playing style, it's obviously different. It's faster here in terms of the physicality. But I've been playing football all my life, so I'm able to adapt in whichever environment I'm in.
Fabian, same for you, the experiences you had in Europe and coming back home as well?
Yeah, morning. Yeah, the experience we have in Europe, you know, it technical, like you have a position like the ball more, you understand, and move in space more and all of that. And coming back there in the garden, you know, it's a different atmosphere. It's faster in here. Yeah, so that is the reason.
Roshan? Your coach Alex spoke about not being the best place on the table, but playing solid football. What more do you think you want to see from your team? I mean, playing good football sometimes doesn't result in getting the result on the day. What do you think is missing from the team each match day?
Alright, for me and for the team, I think it's more of consistency for us because we're playing good, but the end result most times good, bad. So for us, I just think it's consistency for me.
The game will be played. Where will the game be played on Monday night?
Monday night?
Sunday.
No, they're playing on Sunday.
Sunday.
Jamaica College.
Okay, yeah. So, Alex, you are a former coach there. You think now going to JC versus being in the jungle will make a difference?
It doesn't matter where the game play now. We are ready and we're ready to go. You know, it's good to take on the guys out of their comfort zone. But if it's in the jungle, it's in the jungle. Where, you know, good. They have a good field there, good environment, everything. But wherever we go, we're ready.
Joel, that question as well to you, because the crowd was really good on Monday night when you played against Waterhouse. The 12th man is always important, but leaving your home ground to go elsewhere, and you're now second on the table. How impactful will that be away from home or not?
Well, I don't think it will make a big impact on the game. I think when we played at JC's field the last 2 times, we came out with a positive result, and we'll continue to do that.
Question for Joel. So we noticed that you've been deployed in several different positions over the last couple of games. Is it that you are unsettled in the team, or is it that you are strategically deployed depending on the games that you're, or the opponents that you're playing?
Yeah, well, it's a strategy of the coach. I think there's some games where he'll need me at a centre-back role, and then some games at the left-back role. But either way, I'll be ready for every opportunity to play for the team.
Which one you prefer? Which role you prefer? And why?
Really and truly, I prefer centre-back. I think in the centre-back role, my leadership role in the team is a lot easier. During the game, I can see the game at a different angle than I would as a left-back. And I also get to command when it's time to go forward, because, really and truly, the attack starts from the defense.
Coach Alex, how difficult is it coaching in the Premier League? You've been now to a number of teams. The results, you will start off with maybe winning 2 matches, 3 matches, and then we see the losses coming or the draws. How difficult is it?
It's not difficult, once you have coachable players, to bring out the information. But sometimes the result doesn't match with what you're doing, but it's still work in progress, and you can see from where we started to where we're at now. You can see the improvement, and we only can improve along the way.
Decoy, you are a former player of Arnett Gardens, now a part of the team in the coaching capacity. How is it for you wanting younger players to be introduced to the game, not just for your team, just overall in the Premier League?
The younger players in the Premier League, I see some nice young players that showcasing their talent and a week in, week out. I mean, the younger players at this generation, to me, are really coachable, and I can see a lot of improvement in them. For my team as well, the younger players, they really stepped up in the last 4 games that we're winning. I think they're has been the most important players in the run of the unbeaten that we're going through. I mean, so I have to give them credit for young players to step up in the Premier League. It's not as easy. Playing for Arnett as a young player, it is not easy for the fans, and I think they're doing really good, taking the task as a young player to come out week in, week out and showcasing their talent.
Decoy, you're a former national player, just like Alex as well. Other former national players are coaches in the league. How important is it to have, former national players being in that setup? Alex played in 2 World Cups, you played at Gold Cups, you played overseas. How important is it to have persons such as yourself with experience to stay within the system, locally?
Yeah, it's really important, and you can see it because for me personally, sharing my experience that I have week in, week out with the players, and you can see the difference because they're really buying into what I explaining to them as a defender, because most of the time I'm working with the defense, and you can see a really improvement with the defense line, trying to teaching them the game at a different level, not just thinking about playing in the Jamaica Premier League, teaching them the craft that I learned playing with the national team, playing with the overseas team. So it's really important that players of our generation, I see young coaches getting the opportunity, and I really feel proud of it because it's a new generation, and I mean, these players, they have to like the coaches to play for them, really and truly, because they're really thin-skinned, and once you talk to them a certain way, it's really get a lot of players off their game and stuff like that, which I'm not bashing the older coaches, but to get across a message now to these younger players, it's not really easy. They have to really accept you as a person itself.
Alex, same for you. You share the experiences you had playing at 2 World Cups and the experiences playing for your country.
It's good, you know, because we as coaches that been through the journey, you know, and sharing our experience with these players is a blessing, and they are coachable and they understand it's not for here, it's to get them on the next stage, and so they can see the bigger picture, you know, and because it changes life, and that is the most important thing, to change someone's life, and if it can change one, it's always a blessing, and that is our objective.
Neil Oxford, I don't know if he's asking as Mount Pleasant Media, Sports Jamaica, but the floor is yours.
Alright,
yeah, I don't know.
It is a conflict. It is a conflict.
Well, when the question is asked, I will determine. Since I'm the host, I'll shut it down.
Yeah.
What's the question?
It's actually something what Alex said earlier, and you asked a question about. Alex, you mentioned not being in the table where you wanted to be. Well, you're 11th, Dumbo is 6. You have 10 games to go, but yet still it's just 6 points. Where can you make that top 6 spot? We saw Harborview win last year after being 6.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair enough. Yeah, good question. That is our objective, you know, and to push the team as far as possible. And as I said before, we are playing some good football, and we're going to push as far as sky's the limit.
I have one for Jason. Jason, based on what Coach Dikai just said, you have to really feel your coach and be a part of your coach. You've been around Alex from first farm, go and come back. What kind of impact does Alex have had on your decision coming to Malines and still having now in your life?
Yeah, Coach have a big impact on my decision to join Malines, and we have had a good relationship on and off the field, and he's a coach that I respect, and I will continue to respect, and he has taught me a lot. And as he said, it's the sky's the limit as we push to improve our placing in the league.
Owen, are you asking as a journalist or as a CEO? I have to check all of this
just to get the information.
Before I have my people answer.
Just to get the information out so that people can understand. So to the 2 players, Roshan and Jason, considering that you're going up against a high-flying team this weekend, they're out of their comfort zone. What it is like, or what's the strategy like in training going forward? And do we need to be concerned about any internal injuries, anything of the sort? That is directed more to the coach. But what do you think? Do you think that there needs to be a rejigging strategy because you're not getting the results, or everything is nice and cozy going into the game?
Plumber, you can answer that since you're not at training.
Yes, morning. Alright, so it's nothing new. We won't be doing anything new. Regular training. We're playing good football, so it's just come out match day and we'll see some good football from Malines.
Jason, as a centre forward, I mean, you're going up against Joel and his team.
Well, Arnett has been doing good. They have shown consistency, but we are confident in ourselves, as the coach said, and I can agree. We have been playing some very good football, but unfortunately the results are not in our favor. But nevertheless, that is football, and the season is long. We have some time, so we'll be confident going into this game.
Sticking with you, Jason, you in current times or couple seasons, we see a number of players returning and coming back to the Premier League. You all scroll through social media, so I'm sure you do see it. I see it, so I know you all see it. People see it as as a step down. You go there and you come back here. What is that like for you mentally when you have to go there and come back here to play
when you go overseas and have to or come back home, depending on the occasion and the situation, it is not so bad, because sometimes the situation in which you come back is out of your control. But nevertheless, coming back home to play, for me is I'm a person that likes to help, so having the experience overseas, I won't keep it for myself. Definitely I will give what I know and impart some knowledge to the younger players. But as it relates to playing wise, as I've said, I've been playing football all my life, so it is just being able to change your playing style and adjust to the different leagues and feel and the facilities, etc.
Simon, any other question before? No. Sponsors, good morning. Both of you, capacity not making me comfortable with my guests.
I don't ask anything regard. I have a question for Joy. And all my questions are based off what's said before. Joel, your coach mentioned that it's hard playing for Arnett Garden as a young player. No, I don't know if anybody in the room knows Joel. Joel is a calm, relaxed kind of individual. That is nothing like the Arnett Gardens atmosphere. To some people here, it actually surprised us when you made a move to Arnett Gardens. Since being there and with the crowd coming back and everything, how has it been for you?
Well, I think it's been a great experience. I think having some mentors in the team as well. Fabian Reed as a senior player, and then Coach Decoy as a past player and a very good defender back in the day. I think it's been very helpful with the environment regarding the fans and the environment in terms of the energy in the program. I think it's very good. I enjoyed it.
Decoy, Monday night you won 1-0. Could have had, I think, other goals. Or you fix that going forward too? I mean, you can't score every chance that is created, but you want to be netting as much as possible. Or you fix that going forward?
Well, once you're creating chance, that's the best thing. It doesn't matter sometimes how many goals I score. I like as a coach, the more, if we could create 10, 15 chance and score one, it is still good in my books. And I mean, at least we're creating the chances. Sometimes that moment doesn't come at that game. Maybe the next game will carry over, but not creating it, it is worse than not scoring, you know what I mean? So if we can create chances like we do in games, it is always good. I mean, for players and strikers, you could ask Fabian the same question and he will tell you, if he gets 10 chances and score one, he still feel proud of himself.
Alex, you're not very comfortable on the table at the moment. I'm asking not as a host, but as a journalist. You worried? I mean, they do fire coaches when they're not getting results. Do you think about that, or do you not think about that, just get the job done?
No, I can't think about that as a coach. It's part of the job. You know, the main thing is to focus on Mullines' job and do the best of your ability. And we will, as a coach, if you focus on that part, that is negative for me. You know, and you know you're not comfortable in the spot where you're in, but you see the work that you're putting in and the reward that we're getting and the feedback. But you know, we are still working and we're pushing, doing Mullines' job to the best of our ability.
And the locker room still believing?
The locker room is good, management staff is good. You know, at times you're going to find, it's the nature of the business, and this is a business, you know, and we have to accept it, and it's the way of life, you know.
Any other question before I dismiss? That's it? Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
So we know that there's a strategy from the Jamaica Football Federation where they incorporate a lot more local players, local based players in the national setup for camps, etc. And this is a question for all the players now. How do you see your chances of matriculating into the national setup consistently? And do you think the performances over the last couple of games will warrant that? We have a couple of games coming up. What are those opportunities like for you? So start with Roshan and you can move across.
Alright, so as I said earlier, the coaches are using more local players for local camps. So for me, I think it's more consistency in my games. You know, I've been playing good and, you know, keeping clean sheets here and there. So for me, it's just consistency.
As what Roshan said, as a player, for me personally, I just focus on being consistent in my performance and see where it goes. I just hope that the Lord Jesus will, you know, open doors and provide the platform. So, but it's very important and for any player to represent the national team. So it is something that all players will aspire to, as myself. But for me, it's just performance.
Yeah, for me, you know, it's good for no say local I get them chance for showcase them talent to them of in the national team because they did it once, you understand, yeah, but for me, I continue work, you understand, continue do what I do best.
Still have ambitions to go back there?
Yeah, still have ambition to go back there. Still look forward for there, to still look forward for overseas same, you understand, but still I put in the work, so just hope it can, you know, that is there to see and want to give, you know, top of the glory for no say from them time if you give me the boost. Continue. Yeah, you believe in me, you understand? So I'm still I do it same way I do, normal scoring goals. Yeah, that, yeah.
Yeah, so it feels good to know that the national team is looking at more local-based players. For me, I think our performance on the field definitely plays a part in it. Arne Guards as a whole, defensively, we want to improve. We know that we don't have the greatest defensive record, but in the last 6 games, I think we've done well, so we want to continue doing that.
All right, any other question?
And also Kyle Ming, a player. We know Theodore Tapper Whitmore, and we have Sigri in the building, Ladale Ritchie as well for Mount Pleasant. So you can ask all questions except for Neil. Well, you can ask Mount Pleasant question. Let me ask the CEO, because for me, I'm shutting you down where Cavalier is concerned. Is he allowed to ask question to Cavalier?
Of course.
He is?
Course.
No, man. I'm kidding. No, man. We will know what you can. And if he's to ask a question, I wouldn't like it, so we'll shut that down. All right, so I'm going to start, as always, and then I'm sure Simon and others will step in. So, Tapper, you're back to winning ways. A 2-0 win. You traveled to Kingston. Had a 2-0 victory over Tivoli Gardens on Sunday. Pleased with the performance overall from the team following the draws you would have had before.
Good morning, everyone. Well, the game Sunday, I think we're very pleased with the performance of the team. Not to say previous result we weren't pleased, but it is always good to get back to winning ways. It wasn't easy. I think the Tivoli team make it difficult for us. I could leave it until late to really grab our 3 points, but nonetheless, I think it was a well-deserved victory.
Aberdeen, a 4-1 win on Sunday. Big victory for you, despite having some inconsistencies throughout the season.
Yes, we're pretty much pleased with the victory that we got Sunday. I think the guys came out and gave a good performance of themselves.
Simon? Neil?
Kyle, so on Boxing Day, Cavalier played Harbourview by the Arnett Gardens field, and Rudolph Speed said that, you could read danger from a mile. So from the defensive aspect, something that came naturally to you or something you developed over time in terms of your performances?
Morning everyone. Well, it's something natural and well, I also develop it and you just have, it's how you train and read the game as well.
Yeah. Neil?
A question for Nadia Richie.
Okay.
Yeah, man, 2 years I try to interview Richie and I give me the interview, so.
He's a part of your team?
Yeah, man.
Is he a part of the Mount Pleasant
Get
team?
him now. So Richie, 2 weeks ago we had Mr. McCullough here and the question was asked by Livingston from the Gleaner about being a long-time player at Mount Pleasant. Well, if people don't know, you're the first marquee signing for Mount Pleasant Football Academy and 5 years later you're still there. How have you seen the team slowly develop and advance to where they are now, top of the table? How has that feeling been for you as a man who really pushing the ship to where it needs to get to?
Good morning everyone. I think I've been there for a while and I see many players go and many players come, so it's a difference with every team and I think we find the right balance this season of being more consistent and I think this team from the other teams have been more consistent and that's just it.
That's your only question for your player? Coaches, the season, we're now into the second round of the campaign for the Premier League. Comfortable now, you think, with your team and everybody have adapted to what you want?
Well, I would say comfortable, but I think we're working to get there because at the end of the day is the end of the season that's come, so with our leading now, yes, everybody want to lead. We want to see a bit of consistency going forward. So I wouldn't say we are totally comfortable, but we're getting there.
For us at Cavalier, we are pretty much comfortable where we are. We are just touching distance from the leaders. But everybody know that the prelim round is not really the round to concentrate on. You want to focus on the knockout round because that's where the games play.
Where you gonna get there? You can't get to the knockout round if you don't handle business, no, innit?
Yeah, most definitely, but we're staying intact.
True, you're third, a few points behind. Owen?
Yeah, back to Mount Pleasant, and then I'll get back to Cavalier just quickly. So this one is for Coach Whitmore. You've been around several teams at the very highest level and now at the Premier League level. I noticed that there's a star-studded coaching setup at Mount Pleasant Football Academy. Can you just explain to me how the dynamics are and what is your kind of impact on that star-studded dynamic?
Well, I don't know what you call star-studded. I think we just have people in place. We have first and foremost what is required from a technical staff is the basic. Gone are the days when one man want to coach 25 players. So we have a fitness trainer, we have a assistant coach, we have a goalkeeper coach, and I think that's just the basic. But any club would want to have.
Do you consider that a luxury at Mount Pleasant? Because we know that most clubs currently they don't have that kind
No,
of...
well, if you look back in the Premier League, other clubs have the same. Probably where you want to go is probably the names that are associated with Mount Pleasant.
Which is why I said star-studded.
Well, it don't seem to me as a star-studded. And as I said before, it's just the basic that any club would require.
Okay. In relation to your players, what's the kind of atmosphere? I know Ladale is a very seasoned player. He would have been across the league, actually won the league, and you have current champions in your setup like Sigri, etc. How is that relationship?
Well, what is required from the players is 110% at all times. That's what we demanded from them.
All right, Sigri, as a champion at the schoolboy level, generally, how you see the transition now into the Premier League? And we notice that you're not necessarily in the team as often as you would want to. What's it like for you?
Good morning, everyone. So, as I said, I was a champion at the schoolboy level, so I'm used to being in competitive squads. And the key thing in being a competitive squad is being patient, always try to work hard, and be a team player. Be willing to play in any role, because at any given time, you can be playing. Last season you could be playing midfield. This season the coach asks you to play a different role. So you just have to be open-minded and ready to fill the role that they ask you to play.
Are you working on anything specific?
In what regards?
I mean, your own game, team game. You want to leave?
I mean, we're always working. We're always working hard, trying to, because you always want to make an impact. So when you get a chance in a game, you want to make an impact so that you can get a look in the next game. Or you want to stay fit, you want to stay consistent, and always be ready.
So they're not going to give us them tactics, so we might as well learn about the hacks that. We have to ask other things, right? Aberdeen Cavalier, no stranger though to success. You have won during the return out of the pandemic, and now resting third. I know the objective is always to win, but based on your team that you have, can they get the job done like what we saw back in 2021?
Yes, we are working to become champions once more. And you know, that's the aim of the whole team.
I have more questions.
They're not going to give out them tactics.
I don't want a tactical question.
Yeah.
But I have one question that I would have answered. And it's just to me for asking how does it feel being in that Cavalier team as a young captain?
You can answer that. That not so like when you go play against them.
Because Cavalier are other players that come and
Will it?
But being the captain of that.
No pressure from the Mount Pleasant media.
Well, it feels great to be the captain of Cavaliers as a young player. It must be a reason why the coach think I should be the captain. And the young players respect me, and they think I'm a good leader for the team. So yeah.
Youthfulness is a big part of Cavalier. I think nobody's, whenever they think Cavalier, they think about the youthfulness of the team over the seasons. How important do you think that is for youngsters in the schoolboy football, Manning and the Costa watching and so on? Just youngsters watching, seeing a lot of the young players, not just being a part of Cavalier, but in the Premier League, like they can now look to the Premier League as the next step for football.
Yeah, most definitely. That will inspire them to train hard, so they know that they can also be there.
Tough playing in the league?
No, not really.
Are you a bully? I'm kidding. Yeah, Owen?
The same question that I asked the players before. The national setup, aspirations, you see where, coach is resident in Jamaica at most of the games or watch most of the games. Does that play any part in your execution on game day? Do you think, more eyes on you, you need to operate differently, or there's a standard approach?
Not really. You know that the coach will be there. You just have to be yourself, less mistake, lead the team, and try to get winning most of the games.
Tapa, the Mount Pleasant team, I know people in St. Anne, I know they want a title. They have come close before in terms of playoffs and so on, but not advanced, making the top two. When you look at the current squad and how well you're doing, coaches and players as well, everyone on board, do you think that they can maybe you can look to go all the way in that top 2 this time around? Because like I said, there are no strangers to getting to the semi-finals.
That's a good question, and you don't want to build up any hopes, but again, it's a game-by-game situation. You know, you're at the games numerous times, and you will hear the spectators, but we don't want to feel any pressure, as Owen said, with star-studied coaching staff and expect miracle. But I think the players that we have, they knew the task at hand. I think they are working towards it. I think the management team, again, what Mr. Gould has done to transform the club, I think they deserve something.
Sigri, the atmosphere, I've been to a couple of the matches in St. Anne, and their fans, they might not be as aggressive as Arnett Gardens and Waterhouse, and I mean that in the most loving way, but they're there. That 12th man is really strong. How important is that?
So anywhere you go, you always want to have supporters, especially when you're doing anything competitive. So it's always good for them to come out and, you know, especially to see even the mascot out running around. It's always good. You know, it's a good feeling to know that you have people always behind you. Whether like if we say we draw a game last week, this week you come again, you see more people come out to support you. That means you have people believe in you. So that gives you a lot of confidence and drive to work hard.
Nadale, the same question to you. The fans, the 12th man is always important. They're almost like a makeup of the team. How good does that feel, you know, having the support? Like I said, criticism is a part of what we do. Our job is output. But how important are the fans, especially when they travel with you?
Well, it's always good, as Sigri said before. I think the Senton Massive, they really love the game, so home and away, they always give us more support, and we have to thank them for that.
Now to you, Everdean and Kyle, not the biggest of fan base, but the fans that you have, loyal and turn out. How can you know, what do you think can be done to build the fan base? That must be important, you know, Everdean is a part of it. What do you think can be done to build that fan base for Cavalier?
For us at Cavalier, I think we were a club who, with little or less funds, I mean, we are trying to promote ourselves via social media, and I mean, we just have to continue to do what we are doing, and hopefully that we can garner more supporters.
Kyle, as a young player, what you find is the comparison is a steal of joy. So they say, they're not wrong. When you look at the schoolboy football, we see the fans, they turn out in numbers for the various schools. The Premier League, not so much for a lot of the teams. You're leading a young squad. Do they look for that? Is that a big part of, you know, why we want to see some fans in the stand, fans not turn out? Is that a thing?
Yeah, well, we always look for fun, but if they don't come, we just have to execute same way.
Neither here nor there. Any other question?
I just want to know if there's any parting words from either camp. So start with teams, you know. Ambitions for the season. We know that there's, you know, additional prizes at the end of it. And we're talking at the regional level now. What are your ambitions for the end of the season?
My ambition for the end of the season is to get a contract and to win the league.
Good ambition. Coach, Everdean?
Our ambitions at Cavalier is to, you know, become champions once more, and we are definitely looking forward to that.
Well, at Mount Pleasant, like other teams, all the 14 clubs that represent in the JPL are looking forward to win the league, and nonetheless, but personally for me, I would love to see some of our players going overseas to play the trade.
Yes, so for me it will be a great feeling to win my first JPL title individually, to maybe try to work hard and see if I can get a contract overseas. So that's the ambition for this season.
Anything I've done in life competitively, it's always to win. So my aim is to win the season, to lift another trophy, and to guide the youths and to help as much as them as best as possible so they can improve on their game to play at the highest level.